It's really good to be back with you all again. I was trying to recall, I know I was here 5 years ago, for sure. And then I was here again, I think about a year and a half ago. And actually, Sean called me last Friday morning while I was sitting at LAX, or no, last Monday morning, not Friday, last Monday morning, while I was sitting at LAX getting ready to get on a plane to go to Hawaii. And then asked me if I'd be free this coming Sunday, and I turned to my husband and I said, "You're sure we're coming home Friday, right?" He said, "Oh yeah. We are so blessed. We have a daughter who's a flight attendant for United Airlines. We both love Hawaii, and so we just watch for really good deals on hotels, and if the seats are open, we're gone." So it's really nice. It's a great thing to be rewired. I'm not retired, but I am definitely rewired. So Sean told me that this is your day to talk about the Global Heart, and that you've been following the Global Heart Vision program. And I explained to her that I would be playing until I got home, and that I would not be working on researching sermons. But I told her that one of my favorite topics is compassionate action. And so she said, let's go for that. So I did actually create an original talk today, so this is not a rerun. I'm old, I don't like to bore God, so ways to recreate things. And this topic is so rich, so broad, and so deep, and there's so much material. And I'm very happy to know about the University of Wisconsin, Mary, because I've been following a lot of what Stanford is doing. But there is so much research going on right now on the benefits of compassionate action and self-compassion, and that's what I'm going to talk about today. I'm going to read a quote from a book that I like very much. It's called The Mindful Path to Self-Compassion by Christopher Germer. And in that he says, and this is a little long, forgive me, but it's just such a good way to start off. Buddhist psychology defines loving kindness as the direct antidote to fear. Loving kindness is the direct antidote to fear. Whether hampered by the inhibiting fear of feeling we're not enough and never could be enough, or the raging fear that courses through us when we see no options whatsoever, or the pervasive fear we sometimes feel when we must take a next step and cannot sense how or where. In the midst of fear, we suffer. Loving kindness and compassion, in contrast to fear, reaffirms the healing power of connection, the expansiveness of a sense of possibility, the efficacy of kindness as a catalyst for learning. So kindness is the antidote to fear. What a wonderful gift we have in just that simple thought of kindness as an antidote to fear. He goes on to say, change comes naturally when we open ourselves to emotional pain with uncommon kindness. Instead of blaming, criticizing, and trying to fix ourselves, or someone else, or the whole world, when things go wrong and we feel bad, we can start with self-acceptance. Compassion first. This simple shift can make a tremendous difference in your life. As religious scientists, we do a lot of work with affirmation and treatment, of course. Affirmation and treatment are core teachings to what we profess and what we believe and what we practice. And I like to add a third layer to that, and that is this idea of mindfulness, the concept of self-compassion, which really begins by simply being still, breathing, paying attention to how we are feeling in our bodies, noticing that, just really noticing what's going on inside of us, and then practicing that self-kindness, that self-compassion, of accepting ourselves just the way we are. We sing about it, we talk about it, but often we don't practice it. And I think that it's really an important tool, an important key to being more compassionate out in the world. Is there any doubt that we are living in an era in which the media and our public figures are attempting to hold us in a state of constant psychological fear? Does anyone disagree with that? Well, here's some of the things that go through our heads that the press helps us keep running. Will our Social Security run out before we do? Will the North Koreans land a nuclear missile on our coast? Will we develop some rare disease from a mosquito? Will someone different use our bathroom? What if the wrong candidate wins the election? Stay tuned so we can scare and depress you even more. Right? Unless you turn that thing off and go for a walk. We're told it's a dog-eat-dog world, and that there's certainly a lot going on. No question, in this world right now, there's a lot going on that's truly troubling, but there always has been. There always has been. And so it seems like a vision, like that of our global heart, of a world that works for everyone, which was up there just recently. It might seem utopian or out of reach, or unrealistic, and it probably is. But it's a powerful vision, and it calls each of us to be part of a paradigm shift. Each of us is called to this vision. It takes us away from the idea of tribal isolation or superiority of one group over another, but rather it teaches us that we are all one, that we all share the same air we breathe, the same water we drink, and the planet we live on. We are all part of this one planet. I've been speaking about these concepts for many years. This has been something that's been on my heart probably since I began as a minister 20 years ago. Because I really saw how this teaching has so much power to reach out to the world and make a difference. And I think it's so important for us to look at the idea of peace and compassion as part of our core teaching and part of our vision. To me, the greatest gifts that Science of Mind has offered the world is a pathway to living a more compassionate and mindful life, both in meaning and in purpose, in who we are and what we do. Because once we grasp the basics of these teachings, once we have practiced our affirmations and our treatments, once we have discovered through the power of the mind that we can create a world that works for us, then I think it's our responsibility to take it out and assist others in discovering a world that works for them and for everyone. Compassion is engendered by love. And love, to me, is the number one God quality. God is love. It's just that simple. St. John said it beautifully. All was created in love, including you and me. We've all heard the saying, John 3:16, God so loved the world that he gave it his only begotten Son. I like to add daughter. We are all children of the love of God, because it isn't only that it is the one begotten Son, but all begotten sons and daughters. That we are all the children of the only begotten God, is the way that Ernest Holmes put it. And I believe that our greatest challenge then is to live our lives as that love, to show up as that love, not only toward ourselves, but toward other people. To show up in the most difficult of circumstances and still know the truth of divine love, of right action, of divine justice and peace. We are to show up that way first in our own lives. I know a lot of people that are out there doing so many things for others, and they are giving of themselves and giving of themselves and giving of themselves and not paying any attention to their physicality, to their own emotional state, wondering why it is that they're dealing with compassion burnout, because they haven't given themselves that food, that time to rest, that time to sit down and pay attention to their own body, to their own being. Again, from the book, The Mindful Path to Self-Compassion, comes this. Compassion comes from the Latin root calm and patai, meaning with, and patai, suffer, to suffer with. Somehow as religious scientists, we don't like that word suffering, but it is a word that's found so frequently in the Buddhist tradition, and that book is really more from the Buddhist point of view. When we offer genuine compassion, we join a person in his or her own suffering. We are sitting with it and being with it. It doesn't mean we take on